We'll move on to JB. Jonathan Bornstein getting up there in the age. He's 36 years old. 1 goal, 1 assist. His production's down, in my opinion, and you could starting to see age catch up with him. It says he played 13 games in a season. Next season, if it's going to be similar, 23 to 25 games that we could reasonably expect. Maybe not a full 34 game docket. Maybe 10 games is kind of what we expect out of JB. And, just somebody there who's great to practice with, a great veteran presence, someone to help keep the locker room settled. I think that's kind of going to be his role.
I would agree. I love JB locker room presence. He's obviously one of the hardcore leaders on the team, especially for the really young American homegrowns and all those guys. I think a seven's too generous.
Yeah, 7, by the way, is his rating.
And I would give him a 6. And the old wear and tear is starting to show on a guy like JB. In 2019, he was very productive for the Fire in terms of his work ethic and defensive ability. In 2020, I personally saw deterioration on that front. Now, whether that's just due to him getting older or whatever, I'm not sure. But he definitely is. He's definitely more beneficial to the team off the field than on the field at this point. And
Yes.
I'm a big Miguel Navarro stan. I love Miguel Navarro. I love his raw talent. Obviously, we'll get into him, I'm assuming, but
Yep.
I
He's
would
next.
like to see Navarro start over JB. That may be considered a hot take. I look forward to hearing your opinions on it, but that's my thought process.
I would prefer Miguel Navarro was good enough to start over Jonathan Bornstein. I
Easily.
don't know if he is, but I would prefer him to be that person.
Mhm.
Uh, I also really like Bornstein's veteran presence. I feel like he's done a lot more than I expected him to do when he first came in. Uh, he played a lot better than I expected him to last year, and he's played, you know, about the same in my opinion this year. I would give him that's a 7, right? Yeah, a 7 or a 6. It's just he did more than I expected, but I was expecting like so little that it's kind of hard for me to form a good opinion there. Uh, yeah, he's old. I felt like he should have been the captain in
Yeah.
terms of just like, the general person like standing up in front of the mics and talking to press and all that.
Yeah, that would have been
But
better.
we didn't really have that. And that was another point that I made about like not feeling like Calvo's a captain because we didn't really have anybody on this team who was like the face of the team talking to the press.
I agree with this. Bornstein is the best fullback on this Fire roster. At least he was last season. He was much better than Navarro. Bornstein was way more consistent, even though you did see the deterioration, than Navarro. Navarro had his flashes, but the consistency wasn't there nearly as much. Jonathan Bornstein going backward, very reliable. Going forward, very reliable. He's losing that flair. He lost a lot of that pace and that speed, but he never was really known for that. But it's a lot of his calmness and his composure that I thought that made him the best fullback on the Fire roster, and I absolutely think he was the best. I think I put him at a 6. And Miguel Navarro, I dropped down, I maybe a 5, which is what he's rated at here. But what do you guys think? Bornstein best fullback on the Fire?
Um, I mean, if you're looking for consistently average left
Yeah,
back, then
most
you go to
consistent.
Bornstein. If you want to take a risk, go with Navarro. It just depends on what wiki values more.
Mm,
Um, I guess because they're both just very different. Miguel has obviously the potential to be better, but Bornstein is just all around the more consistent guy as of now. We'll see if that changes as Bornstein gets older and same with Navarro.
right. And he's going to be 37 here. Content Please saying big fan of Navarro, but he gets angry very easily and does some questionable tackles at times. But
That's
he's
the fun
young.
part.
But he's young, so with more
Welcome
playing
to
time,
MLS.
well, with more playing time, he'll definitely be great for us. Navarro in the article is labeled a 5. At only 21, Navarro has a long way to go before coming the fullback this team needs him to be. Hopefully next year, this coming season is going to be, he ascends to that. He is
Who do you think
prone.
this guy is? Ang? Like yeah, he's like he's got a long way before he saves anybody. It's just I you need somebody who's going to be consistent, and at some point he's going to have to be consistent. But we're already starting a massively inconsistent player at center back, so we know that it's okay. And if you have somebody like Bornstein behind him who is consistently average, who will be there as the stopgap, I think that it's fine. And the way that he played, yes, he did not play that well. And when he made his mistakes, he made some real big mistakes. But I think he was fine. I'd give him like a 6. Is fine.
Yeah. I would agree. A 6. And like I said, not even 5 minutes ago, huge Miguel Navarro guy. And you're so much raw talent. You could see it. He's got speed, decent dribbling. His crossing at times was really good. Once again, his crossing sometimes was really bad. And I think you got to be a little lax with him because he's a 21-year-old coming from where did he come from? The Venezuelan league?
Yeah.
To MLS, which is a higher caliber league, but also a lot more physical league and a very foreign country. And everything was
everything that
COVID
happened.
and everything that happened. So, when he got on the field, yes, he showed flashes of really good potential. He also showed that he's a 21-year-old fullback who's new to the league.
It says Wiki may have overused him, and he played 10 games.
Possible.
I see. I don't think I disagree. I don't think I agree with that. I think he was used properly. Eventually you got to stop giving big minutes to 36-year-old.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's a good point.
Granted, you did have Andre Reynolds as well, so
that's why I would say that's the only place that I would say yes, absolutely. That's why we'll get to Dre when we get to Dre. He's got to be on this list.
I know you're
somewhere.
a big Dre fan, Jiggly.
But it's just like, yeah, the only way that I would say Navarro was overused is if you bring Dre into the equation. And that's a big letdown. We'll get there.
Yeah, actually, that's a good point.